seconds. Charles Barkley. Johnson around his man. Drives his Davis scores. So Lamar Jackson is going to Stoudemire scores. Rejected. What a defensive effort that time. And Crowder looking for Kevin Durant. Break it out here. With the long one, won't get it. Long rebound. Finds Booker. This is going to
Good morning. Welcome to the Suns Planet podcast, where three fans from around the globe bring together all of Suns Planet. Let's go. So I am your host, Keith, aka Sundress, and with me, I was going to call him Mr. Fresh Cut Babyface, but it looks like the stubble is growing out a little bit. Sir Hamill, how you doing this morning?
It still looks terrible, doesn't it? Doing good. Thank you very much. Dunks, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. It's been a long week, but this is our time to unwind, So
Definitely.
Jake at Fallen Founder cannot be with us today, but we brought in some podcast royalty. This is a man who has more glasses than PJ Tucker has shoes. It's Espo. How we doing, mate?
Oh, I thought you had Dave King. I heard a podcast legend. All that. I just assumed Dave King was here again.
No, it's you this time, and I think our viewers will be just as pleased.
Thanks for having me, guys. Glad to be here. Always enjoy talking Suns, and love that there's another show in the family here that's talking it. A lot of people are like, oh, there's a lot of it's not competition. We got a family of Suns podcasts because we all love talking Suns, and the better for the fans. Everybody gets more Suns talk, and you can never have enough of it. So,
absolutely, I know I can never get enough. And so, for the one or two fans out there who might not know who you are, like my parents are watching or something, why don't you tell us who you are, Espo?
So I have been a Suns fan since 1992. Grew up here in the Valley. I wound up working for the team, working for Arizona Sports. Now I run the content side at PHNX, and I host the PHNX Suns with a very talented group of people over there. So that's the Reader's Digest version, or the too long didn't read for the younger viewers. So
absolutely, and I put the link down there in the ticker. I've been a diehard with PHNX since the beginning, and I can't recommend it enough. If anyone lives in Phoenix, there's all kinds of takeovers and parties that you guys do that make it well worth it. But like me, even if you don't live in Phoenix, come join the diehard Discord. That place is always popping. The Bread Vigilante crew is real. It's not a rumor. Shout out to Mark, Mike, Colin, Chuck, Psycho, and all my guys there in the Discord. We're a family over there, and we're the best darn Suns group chat there is. So come join us.
I went to get a bagel this morning just so I could have some bread on the show. I could not find one in the fridge, though. So.
Oh, man, you're disappointing us already, Espo.
I'm used to doing that for people, so don't worry.
Well, as for the Suns, I don't think they've been disappointing anybody. They've been playing in the preseason so far, 3 games. It looks like the starters, when healthy, have been the big 3, Big Nurkic and Okogie. Do we think that's a set lineup, and what are we seeing so far from those guys, Espo?
Yeah, I have a feeling that this is the lineup that we're going to see to start. Where a change might eventually come is if Josh Okogie struggles with that shooting at any point. They may consider looking at Jordan Goodwin if he continues to impress in practice. Maybe a Grayson Allen gets an opportunity at some point. But I think Josh Okogie's earned that 5th spot from everything I've heard, what he's done at camp, obviously what he's done in the preseason games we've seen. I think he's the starter for now. He'll be a guy that is an integral part of Frank Vogel's defense, especially at the point of attack. And we'll see how it goes from there. I think saying there's a set lineup for good here is probably not going to be the case, just because I think Frank Vogel will experiment at times this year. Just as a new coach here in Phoenix with some new pieces, you're going to want to try things just to see, but I think we'll see this lineup a lot.
Yeah, see, that's that's the beautiful thing, isn't it? You took the words right out of my mouth there, Espo. The lineup could potentially change game to game under the Vogel system. It's going to be really interesting, man, because we have so many different combinations that we could put on the court at various times. So I'm happy with this being the starting five, but yeah, definitely it is going to be a varying lineup over the next what are we talking, 8 months or so. It's going to be incredible.
Yeah, I think Okogie's fitting in well so far as the fifth starter. Vogel's been talking about this guy every chance he gets. Last week we told the elevator story. He thinks he's tough, likes his game. But, it might be a concern if Okogie starts to miss every single three-pointer he takes. But so far he's been driving to the rack, and he's been creating havoc on defense, and he's been really fitting in well as that fifth starter, I think.
Yeah, and I think what'll be interesting is, how do you close a game, though, right? Is that the group that you stay with? Is that do you wind up going more offense? Does it just depend on what the game itself looks like? There, as you guys said, there'll be some rotating here, and I even think in that final five, you'll see a lot of different variations depending on game situation. And we went from last year, there's no depth here, to this year where it almost feels like an overabundance, where you're going to have so many options. It's going to be very interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, I think we're seeing that anyone can really fit around the big three. When they've been out there, they've just been looking amazing. We have not seen the lack of a pure point guard be a problem at all. The ball's been zinging around. Nurkic has been setting screens and getting those guys open. And we've just been seeing so many open shots out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the gravity of the big three. They attract. I mean, even we saw it the other night. Just Booker and KD themselves opened up so much, and with Nurkic's passing ability, it becomes fun to watch in ways that we haven't seen here.
Nurk's passing in the latest game was incredible. That bounce pass that he threw in, where they had a beautiful slow motion replay to it. He's incredible. His passing is just unexpected for all the bad words that were said around Nurk and injuries and this and that, which yet to be determined. But he's bringing some incredible skills and a hell of a lot of passion to this team at the moment. It's a beautiful thing. I guess we'll get into that a little bit later, but please continue.
Yeah, Nurkic is a guy who's been around. His basketball IQ is off the charts. That's what we really wanted the former guy to develop. And in 5 years, he just never did. The athleticism, the skills were there, but he just didn't make the winning plays that we needed. And that's what Nurkic is going to do out there for us, and he has been so far. But, it's weird to call him Nurkic. I think we should let a little Bosnian band tell us what we should call him.
It's a flush, savage slam dunk, rebound with the sound of this welcome funk. Bosnian beast from the wild, wild east.
So the Bosnian Beast, there you go. That is, go ahead.
That is a killer track. That is a killer track.
I was just gonna say, if he keeps passing like this, he's the Bosnian Magic, and I'm just gonna stick with that.
Nice.
But can I address a comment? I don't mean to step on where we're headed, but
we've got a troll in the chat again. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm getting trolled by Rao asking, Espo, remember when you wanted Luka over when you wanted Luka over Ayton? You don't, because you wanted Ayton And that's true. I did, and I own it, and I was wrong. And you know, that's the beauty of things. You can be wrong, but you can be man enough to admit it. And it was a huge mistake. And DeAndre Ayton did not live up to his potential and his hype, and I own that. So,
Still,
hey, at least they didn't take Marvin Bagley the third first. So I'll say that.
as Gavin from the Aussies say, if we had drafted Luca, Devin Booker would probably not be on this team anymore.
Mhm.
So, Rao, take your pick, man. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the multiverse of madness. Who knows what would have happened if that had turned out? But, I really like the way everything has turned out for sure. I used to be a card carrying Ayton stan for sure. I've given all that up. I've renounced my membership. I'm all in on the Bosnian Beast now for sure.
Hell yeah,
And,
dude.
it's not just the starters that have been impressing in preseason. We've had a lot of different reserves come in and play minutes. What have we seen from those guys, and who do you think might get cut, Espo?
Yeah, I mean, Eric Gordon, he kind of got lost in basketball Siberia and Houston there for a while and showed a little bit with the Clippers at the end of the year last year of what he's still capable of doing. But man, that guy has impressed. His ability to pull up from anywhere on the court, that up and under against Portland. I mean, his his scoring in that game too. He's the kind of guy that I think could be in the 6-man conversation this year, and is the kind of guy that could score 9, 12 points late in a game on his own when the big three's getting bottled up and shift a lot of games. So I've been unbelievably impressed with him. Chimezi Metu, a guy that was a question mark coming in. We had heard, all the talent in the world, but hasn't been able to put it together even when he had opportunity in Sacramento. But he's impressed. I'm just obviously Grayson Allen in the games that he's played has also I think surprised some Suns fans. We had a lot of never Allen guys, and all of a sudden, a game and a half in, they're like, you know what, this Grayson Allen guy isn't as bad as I thought. And
Shout out, Justin.
so I'm very happy with the depth, and we haven't even seen Jordan Goodwin and what he can do outside of some brief minutes against Portland. So there's and that's not even to mention you. There's just so many guys that you look at on this bench and you go, oh, you got a pretty good value there. KBD is the only guy that you haven't at this point had that moment where you go, all right, I get it. So I'm been impressed.
Especially the Portland game, Eric Gordon, what can't he do? He was doing it all. He was doing it all, and he's enjoying himself. He's playing hard. He does seem like he's been rejuvenated a little bit by coming to this team. Like you said, he was kind of in limbo there, in purgatory in Houston. But the Portland game was a very good example. It was a showcase of our bench, a showcase of our depth, showcase for a lot of these blokes that you wouldn't have seen. In terms of people being cut, we may have to look at Wainwright being cut, but possibly cut and re-signed under a 2-way or something like that. Jordan Goodwin was incredible in those limited minutes that he had, but everyone was. Like you said, KBD hasn't had a great start, but could be nerves, could be anything. We're only still in the preseason. But the one that really got me a little bit excited the other day, you could see how nervous they were when they first come on the court, and I hope I get this right. But Azubuike, he is a big body.
Athleticism.
Very strong. Very strong. But once those nerves dropped off and he started to get the flow and started to feel it a little bit more, he might not be half bad. He's not going to be Hakeem or Shaq or anything like that, but it's a different kind of big man at the moment. It's not your Holgrams and your Wembies and things like that in terms of body type. So it's very interesting, and it was good to see the depth being showcased like that. It was kind of, hey guys, look out! This is what we got, and you better work it out quick, or else we're taking it all and running home with it.
In terms of the who's going to get cut, I think we're at a point where Keon Johnson's obviously. I feel bad for the kid because I think even he knows this isn't going to last. I think Bull might actually be the guy that gets cut. I feel like they really like Ish Wainwright. They like what he brings to the locker room. We saw in that Dallas game last year, he doesn't shy away from a big moment, even if he has to play. So, and I've been underwhelmed. I mean, we heard all the hype. I know the roller coaster. He's supposed to be up and down, but he's the one piece I look at and I go, I don't know. And Damian Lee, as much as I hate to say it, could get cut just simply because of the injury, and not wanting to carry a guy that you don't know how long it's going to take him to get back from the meniscus injury. So.
Yeah, I think you've really hit on the four candidates, and my opinion keeps changing on which two it should be. We've got Ish. He's been injured. He has not been able to show what he can do. He's on a non-guaranteed contract. We've got Keon Johnson. He hasn't really shown so much yet. We'll see in the last couple of games if he gets to show a little bit more. Damian Lee, another one of the nicest guys on the team along with Ish. He's also been injured, but he's also one of the best shooters. Would they cut him? I don't know. And then Bol, he's got that body of Wimby and these other guys, but I don't know about that guy, man. I don't think he's really an NBA player. What do you guys think about Bol?
It may come down to the point of, are we willing to let him take up a roster spot? Might not be so much about whether he's a good fit, whether he's production, but is he the best that we can fill that spot with? And the sad fact about that is probably not. We probably could do better.
Yeah, and Howard in the chat says, I would try to sign Bol to that third two-way. I'm not sure whether we can do that or not. They keep changing the rules on the two-way contracts on how much experience you have to be a two-way. So I'm not sure if he fits that or not. I'm pretty sure Ish does. I don't know if you know the answer to that, Espo.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics because, as you said, they've changed that. Obviously, there's 3 spots there now. I don't see, if you're all in, if this is championship or bust, which I think we all agree it is over the next 2 years. I don't see how Bull fits in that because he's a guy that needs playing time to develop. Well, you're not going to get that outside of blowouts. And do you really want to spend that time as the Bull experiment? Or do you want a guy like Ish Wainwright that we know is good in the locker room? There's all sorts of questions with this, but I'm just starting to question whether he is the right fit. I can see why, a team in a situation like Orlando was rebuilding gives this guy an opportunity. Raw talent shows, but that's just not where the Suns are. And I really think they wanted to see, is this kid, have the potential for the future, but without a G League team, without opportunities for him, I'm starting to lean towards he's the guy that winds up being the odd man out.
It definitely would not be surprising. The other guy that's not going to get cut, but he's been a disappointment so far, is Keita Bates-Diop. A lot of us thought he was going to be the 5th starter. Now it's looking like he's barely clinging on to a rotation spot. I think he just has been trying to do a little too much out there at times. He's not really the offensive player, and he tries to take it off the dribble a little bit too much, I think. And he just needs to fit in a little bit more to what we're doing. You guys have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I wonder if some of it's just coming from Pop's system and trying to adjust to something new, too, because the Spurs run a tight ship. They run very specific things, and maybe it's some of that. Maybe it's some trying to impress too much. He's a guy that if he stays within his game, plays defense, spots up from the corner, it can be very valuable. And I just wonder if he's, hey, I'm the new guy. I'm trying to prove myself. I'm trying to, I'm sure he heard everybody talking about being a fifth starter there, and maybe he's just pressing too much. We'll see him at some point this year. I'm sure he'll have his moment, whether it's due to injury or because somebody else struggles and Vogel gives him a look. But through the preseason so far, it's not the guy everybody expected when you heard that they signed him this offseason.
Yeah, the guy that I think actually could push a Kogi for that fifth starter is Grayson Allen. As you mentioned, he's been playing really well. We didn't see him in the one game, but he's really shown an off the dribble game. I thought he was just a shooter, but he's really been taking off the dribble and showing everything. And as you said earlier, he's a lot more likable than a lot of us thought. And I'm wondering if we should have even created this drop now.
Can you be scary? Oh, I know you were asking me. Can it be scary? What do you think of this?
He can be scary at times. I hope he is to the opposition. But for us Suns fans, we love him so far. He's been great.
Well, even the passing caught me off guard the other day. 7 assists. He's a guy. If he were a little better on the defensive end, I'd say, yeah, he's definitely going to wind up potentially taking that starting spot. I think the defense is where it'll hurt him. I think he alongside Eric Gordon in that second unit makes them extremely scary because one of the big three will be playing with that group too, and I think he'll fit that role very well. You basically have 2 6 men on your bench right now with Gordon and Allen.
Yeah, I don't think any other team has that, and they're sitting there talking about the Suns are not deep. What do you mean we're not deep?
It's incredible the people we have. Every time another name gets brought up, I forget that they play for us. We've got so much talent at the moment. But Grayson Allen's one of them guys, like his reputation did precede him. And whether you if you're not extremely familiar with his game before he came to Phoenix, it's been a very pleasant surprise. It's been very pleasant. He hasn't headbutted anyone. He hasn't drop kicked any babies or anything like that.
Not yet.
Not yet. You're still sitting there waiting. It just hasn't happened.
But he's our asshole now, and that makes it all right.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So, it's similar to when we signed Chris Paul. It's like, God damn, that bloke's annoying. And then, oh, yeah, he's annoying, but he's our annoying now, so it's your problem.
All right. Well, let's go to a little room where we try to keep out all the assholes.
What's the name of that nightclub of yours again?
You talking about the Boom Boom Room?
Yeah, the Boom Boom Room. That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Booker's always hanging out in the Boom Boom Room. Everyone's trying to get in. Emma, were you about to say something?
Get in. How long's Drake been in there for? All right.
Was that Guy Fieri in there?
It is. Guy Fieri's in there too.
Oh yeah, big Suns fan.
And Luca's mom, Jake, let her in. Mom.
I'm all right with that as long as Luca's not there, but his mom is. She was suing him last year, so she might be looking for a new team to root for.
Absolutely. Well, I hope that Suns are that team. But, everyone comes into the Boom Boom Room trying to get a look at Devin Booker and see what type of guy this guy is off the court. But, Espo used to work for the Suns. He's interacted with Devin Booker. Can you share with us anything about how he is off the court?
Well, look, I can tell you he's a hell of a 2K player because his rookie year and I know I'm not breaking news, everybody's seen it, but I got a firsthand look at it. His rookie year, we played at the hotel and training camp for a video for Suns.com. And in the first half, he beat me 60-17. So I don't know if that's more of a an indication of how shitty I am at video games.
Ouch.
But yeah, but I don't think a lot because he doesn't show it a lot externally, but he is a genuine good guy. I'll never forget my final game. I'm standing in the tunnel to get some video for social of the team coming out, and or actually photos. Unfortunately, it wasn't video because as he comes running out, he's going Espo's last game before he runs out on the court, and now I'm like, holy crap! The greatest son of all time was screwing with me as he ran out on there. But I think that kind of speaks to it. The first time I met him, we were up in the old Gorillas greenhouse, and there's basketball hoops and little 7-foot, 8-foot hoops, and we're waiting for a photo shoot, and he and I just start throwing lobs to each other, goofing around, joking around, and as he's become a bigger star, we've seen this very just methodical guy, but he does have that fun side. But he also at 18 when he walked in there was one of the most mature, most locked in people I'd ever seen working for the team. So it doesn't surprise me the methodical guy he's become, the guy that is so good on the court with that attitude, but he's also a genuinely good guy off of it, and I don't think enough people see that or know that part of him.
That speaks volumes, doesn't it? Someone taking the time and the care to realize not only to acknowledge that you're doing your job at the time, like to acknowledge you in person. There's people out there with egos and things like that, man, and to actually remember and have that at the forefront of his mind as he's going out to do his job, man, that does speak volumes. That really does. That's an awesome story.
Yeah, I look, and I mean, I'm not sure he'd remember me today necessarily, but I went back a couple years after I had left the team, and I had a pass, and I was standing courtside as he ran off the court from his warm ups, and he was like, "Hey, Espo," gives me a fist bump. I mean, this is a point where he had already dropped 70. He was a guy that that was established now, and he still took that time, and so to me, I've always been impressed with him. Did I think he would become, the greatest son of all time? No, I thought he was going to be a guy that was very good, was going to have a major impact. But it's been unbelievable to watch how he's grown. The fact that all these stars have such a great respect for him. I think in part it's because of the guy he is off the court. They love his game, but I think he's been is such a good guy on that too. I'll never forget. I went with him to Toronto for his first All-Star weekend, that rookie year when he was in the 3-point contest. He lost in the final, and afterwards he looked. I was doing stuff for Suns.com, and he looks at me and says, I feel horrible that I didn't bring this home for Suns fans. And I promise you guys, the next time I get an opportunity, I'm going to win this for you. And it wasn't the speak, oh, I'm just going to hype up the fan. It was genuine. You could tell he felt bad that he hadn't won that for this group of people. And that was kind of, for me, the first glimpse of how dedicated he was to Phoenix, because he felt how much, even in that rookie year, even though Hornacek hadn't given him a lot of time, that this fan base truly embraced him. So,
such a great guy.
You're a little bit too humble there, Espo. I'm sure that Booker is quite aware of what you guys do over there at PHNX, and I'm sure he would remember you, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Look,
you're way
man,
too humble.
I am a nobody in the grand scheme of things. I'm just another
No,
fan
no.
that has been lucky enough to sit his ass behind a mic and blow V8 for a handful of years. And you know, I appreciate the kindness there, though.
No, that's truth, brother. That's truth.
And you know, as Huntstar05, our man Josh says in the chat, Booker is the personification of cool in every aspect. And I couldn't agree more. You know, with the style, all the classic cars and everything. We really need a documentary on this guy someday, a 30 for 30 or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
hell yes.
I don't think
And
I don't think that'll come until after his playing days, though, because he seems very I'm all business right now, and I respect that.
5 rings. But you know,
no,
another guy
he's the
that
guy,
is
man.
another guy that is cool in every aspect is Matt Ishbia. Haven't really talked about him on the show yet, but this guy has come in like a whirling dervish, made all kinds of moves. Espo, do you think these are good moves? What do you think of this guy so far?
Hell, if he wins a ring this year, you can already call him the best owner. And that's no disrespect to Jerry Colangelo. And obviously, it's in part the PTSD that we have from the previous guy. But look, he's come in. He said from word one, I'm just a steward of this franchise. I want to win and I want to make it the best overall, not just on the court. I want to make this the best franchise for everybody involved. And honestly, when I heard it, I was like, okay, I'll take you at face value, but I need to see it. I need you to prove it. 24 hours later, he trades for Kevin Durant. You go, all right, you're proving it on that front. Obviously the move to get Bradley Beal, what they've done with this bench. But to me, the biggest thing is the way I've seen him treat people and employees. The first thing he said to all of us is, if you have a question, if you need anything, you reach out directly to me, and gave the reporters his cell phone, his email, said that his brother Justin has been unbelievable with me as well. I don't want to forget him. He's the second largest stakeholder in the team as well. You've seen on Twitter fans who have emailed Matt Ishbia and they get responses from him directly. But then you look at what he said the other day and the investment that they're making in the new employee campus that includes the WNBA facility, one of the only in the league. He's investing another 100 200 million into that project south of the arena, which could help rejuvenate that area a little bit in the city too. But he's taking care of these employees. And as somebody who sat in that building, as somebody who was told point blank, you are nothing but a number on a spreadsheet at one point in there, this is taking care of people. And look, I'll admit it could all be a front because he's new and he wants to make it look like that. I don't think so. Everything I've seen from this guy, it seems like the real deal. It seems like he truly cares and he wants to make this franchise and restore this franchise to how it was viewed, 2 decades ago. And for the first 30 years of the franchise, he just wants to add the ring to that mix and has been willing to do whatever it takes. And that's without even mentioning my favorite part of what he's doing. The Ring of Honor is coming back, and it sounds like in an even cooler way than it used to be there. And that's again, listening to the fans, giving them exactly what they've been asking for. A small subsection of us. I'm not going to say every fan has been clamoring for some banners in the rafters for the alum, but that to me also says this guy isn't tone deaf. He wants to give people what's important to them. He wants them proud of this franchise again.
He's a true fans owner. Everything he's done since coming in through, obviously Australian don't get to witness it firsthand, but everything he's doing with the free broadcast to Arizona residents and things like that, and the things with the antennas and that I'm hearing about and reading about. He's just a true fans owner. He's everything he has done has ticked every box. Everything he's done has been, as our main man Hunstar is saying there, he's a godsend. What more could you ask for? Really? It's unreal, man. It's still blows me out. Still imagining to wake up since I won't get the date right, but I was actually on holidays when they traded for Kevin Durant, and I was in the middle of paradise. Absolutely was, and I was just heartbroken and elated at the same time, and I was still expecting to wake up from that. I still think it's this has all been a dream.
Well, now paradise is on your Harley, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ishbia, as you say, he's a people person. He really seems to be able to rally the troops. Bartelstein and Jones, they've all been talking about how they're a unit. They agree on everything. They all thought the trade for Nurkic and Allen was a good idea. And Bartelstein, he said that it was Ishbia's idea. Let's blow through the second apron. He came up with that. It seems like a lot of owners and other people are not even thinking about it. And Ishbia had a plan. He executed it right down to the wire. And so far, it's worked really, really well.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
was that not? Sorry, Espo. Was that not hilarious the other day watching the Detroit game with the little sponsorship logo on the Pistons jersey from the Ishbia owned company? I just that was a little bit meta. That was interesting. But yeah, sorry to cut you off, Espo.
no, I feel like that is like, taking care of the little brother. Hey Detroit, we know you're way down at the bottom. We'll throw you a few shekels so maybe you can get better. It's supporting the lesser in the NBA. I like it. I'm actually surprised the league, the league hasn't said anything about it. It's a little weird that
It's
the owner of
borderline.
one team is paying another. But then I was thinking about it. Rocket Mortgage, which is a competing, obviously, company to UWM and is owned by the Cavs owner Dan Gilbert. I guess they spend a lot in the league too, so maybe we won't see a change in that. But it was it was pretty funny to watch that. But yeah, this guy is a people's owner. I'm not as skeptical as I was when he walked in. Josh Bartelstein too. I'm just gonna say this. Dude's 32, has come in and I think reinvigorated the business side. I've heard nothing but good things about that guy so far, too, which is coming a long way from the guy that sat in that seat in that office prior to him. So I'm excited about the future of this franchise on all fronts. To hell with the second apron. We're ready to cook with or without an apron here. And look, if he's willing to spend the money, who the hell cares what the tax is, right? I mean, that's as he said.
What apron?
Yeah, I mean, as he said from word one, you spend money to make money, and I'm not here to worry about the bottom line. I'm here to worry about, do we win, and do we treat this this fan base right? He's checking both those boxes, and yeah, they'll make money. Go look at Golden State. Golden State owners aren't crying poor; they're making their money, even paying that luxury tax. So,
Hey, man,
Definitely worth it.
it's all about the rings. And for the immediate future, we've got 2 preseason games left against the Blazers again and against our hated Lakers. And then we finally get into the regular season. So, Espo, what are you looking forward to coming up? Are there any unresolved questions right now?
I want to see Jordan Goodwin. I want to see a heavy dose of Jordan Goodwin in these next 2 games. Show me what you got. Prove that. I want to see Chimezi Metu continue to do what he's doing, because he is, if he does, he's played himself into a rotation spot, and I look forward to that. I don't think I need to see much of the big 3. I probably don't need to see much of Nurkic either at this point. Maybe Maybe throw him out for 5 minutes in that Portland game at home. Although I think they're going to rest the big three again in the home game. So maybe we see him for a few minutes in that Palm Springs game against the Lakers. But look, we know what they are. They've shown chemistry. I don't need to see them go out there in meaningless basketball, at least meaningless for them, not meaningless for these guys fighting for rotation spots. And I need to see that. And I just need to see Jordan Goodwin, KBD, Metu go out there and play. I don't need to see anything else at this point.
As someone that's been close to the Suns, Espo, I found that strange that they were resting all three. I mean, I know it's preseason, but they were resting, some of the main stars in that preseason game. Are they holding off until like the first home opener to have the showcase out there, or is that just looking too much into it?
I think it's looking too much into it. I had that thought initially, but then you kind of look at that schedule and they play the Detroit game, and obviously you're going to want to play the big three in the first game. Try to see what you have. They're chomping at the bit. They weren't going to sit out the first game of preseason, and that next day you practice in Detroit at the UW or in Michigan at the UWM facility, and obviously they're going to practice there because it's Matt Ishbia's company. You're not going to be like, yeah, we're going to sit out and screw all these employees. So then you fly back and you play the next day. Well, of course, you're not going to play in that game. And so I think it just kind of became we're going every other, and it didn't have anything to do with, is it home, is it road? It was just, how do we strategically rest these guys? Because they're still going hard at practice. We can't forget that they're still installing new things defensively and offensively in practice, and they're expending a lot of their energy there and trying to learn this. So I think it was just simply a strategic timing thing, and it happened to just fall in that way. And I don't think it has anything to do with not wanting them to play at home, because everything we've seen as this franchise is all about the fans right now, and I don't think they do that outside of anything strategically for their health and to keep them healthy.
Yeah, it's me having a tinfoil hat moment right there.
You're honoring Espo there with that one. But we've got Darth Voida in the chat, of course, of Sun's Jam Session. He's asking who gets cut: Ish, Ball, Keon, Nasir, or Damian. Choose two. Now, personally, I would not put Nasir on that list. If it wasn't for his contract, I would, because he has not been good. I don't think he's in the rotation, but he's making something like $7 or $8 million, and he's one of the only two tradable contracts along with Grayson Allen. We can extend Grayson Allen up until the season starts. I think they should strongly look at that. If they don't,
you'd be silly not to.
Yeah, then they'll have to deal with it at the end in the off season. But he's been great. But Nasir, I think we need to keep his contract around.
I think they're intrigued. I think they're still intrigued by him too.
Yeah. Personally, I keep changing my mind, but I think we need shooters. And so I would cut Bull and Keon. You like the athleticism and the talent of both, but I don't think either one of them are, ready to win that championship now. And, Howard says the same thing, Bull and Keon. You guys think anything different?
Yeah, I'm leaning that way. Also, I'd cut Darth Voida's fantasy football skills.
Just take that.
Wow.
The whole thing, man. We knew he was going to have that Taco Fall kind of fandom, and I'm already on that train. He came out the other day. I'm sitting here just watching, going, sprinkles. Let's go. A little bit of sprinkles. But, yeah, I mean, we've made too much sense talking about reasons why he should be cut. And then they're nothing personal, and it's nothing about his game. It's just like, I don't think he needs that spot. So I think it's pretty unanimous. Bowl and Keon at this stage are the ones that are looking like they're going to be cut.
Yeah, the wild card is Damian Lee's injury. You know, if he's going to be out for a really extended period of time, they might cut him, and that would just be horrible. And he's such an experienced guy, a nice guy, and a great shooter. I really hope that doesn't happen.
Same.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I'm just so glad the season's finally here. Let's get to it. You know, this is probably going to be one of the greatest years in our history. We've got the most talent we've ever had. So, Espo, do you have any final thoughts? And just tell us where we can find you.
Yeah, man. I think this is going to be a fascinating regular season, but I think we're all going to feel that, you know, can we get to the playoffs about January? Because we're going to see this offense hum. We're going to see how good Vogel's defense can be, and we'll get that antsiness. Like, okay, we've seen the regular season thing. We don't need another 64, 65 wins. You know, if it happens, great, but that can't be anything that you're too worried about. It's, can you get those 16 from April to June? And this team is deep enough. They've answered those questions. Obviously, the big three with Nurk is now very, very intriguing. But as everybody said, it's come down to health. If they stay healthy and healthy at the right time, like, I don't need 82 games from each of these guys, but healthy at the right time, especially when those playoffs roll around, this team is more dangerous than I think a majority of the league. I think the Nuggets better keep Larry nice and warm during that winter in Denver, because he's going to have a warm summer here in Phoenix if these things fall right. And I look around, and it really feels like this may be a collision course with a repeat of the 2021 finals with Milwaukee, if things can click between Dame and Giannis. And I'm in. Let's see it. Give me them. Give me Boston.
Please.
Let's see it.
Miami,
I'm excited. I'm
off.
excited to watch any of the matchups in the West, but I'm ready. I think this is finally our time in Phoenix.
Oh yeah, man. The Phoenix Suns are here, and you got to do it for Voida one time, Espo.
Dude, what Void is asking?
What Voida's asking.
Look, the Phoenix Suns are the one who knocks. All right, we're here, and we're gonna take care. We're Heisenberging this shit this year. All right.
We're going to be incredible this year, guys. It's a brilliant time to be a Suns fan. It's incredible. It's exciting. It's uncharted territory before. Everything's good. Everything's great. Everything's looking up. What one hell of a season coming up.
Absolutely. And thanks again, Espo, for coming on. We really appreciate it. Everyone needs to go check him out on PHNX Suns. And, you know, this is something I truly believe, and this is my little tribute to Espo. The Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA.
Appreciate it. Anytime you guys want me.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
Thank you very much, Espo. I love the show. Love what you guys do over there. I love being able to live vicariously through people like yourself who are living the dream in terms of being a fan and being able to do what everyone in our circle aspires to do. And you guys do an amazing job. You're a very credible journalist in your own right, as in everyone over there at PHNX. So thank you very much for gracing us with your presence, Espo. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Look, I appreciate it, and if it weren't for this dedicated fan base and how much we love this team, I wouldn't have the opportunities that I've been afforded. So I appreciate each and every one of you, you and Darth and all the guys in this space as well. And seriously, anytime you want me, call me up. And as long as my daughter doesn't have something at 8 a.m. Phoenix time, I'm here for you. So
Thank you very much, Espo.
Yeah, well, we might do some additional times in the future as well. But for now, we are a weekly podcast every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Phoenix time. That may change in a few weeks since you guys don't follow daylight savings time. But come check us out on Twitter at Suns Planet Pod. The word podcast was too long for Elon over there. But we do live stream to YouTube and Facebook each week. If you come on the
name Twitter was too long for Elon.
There you go. Exactly. Of course, you can chat on the YouTube. We also upload to Spotify video and everywhere you get podcasts. But with that, Al, take us home.
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stay with us as the Suns get set to shine here on their home court.
Here's Perry. To Gar Hurd. Here's the jump shot. Good! It's good!
Al McCoy with you courtside. Pumped up a three.
Shazam! He ties it. Hey, D.A. Al and Tim up here.
Happy birthday!
Right. Yeah.
I know it's a moment. Happy birthday, baby!
Here's Cameron Payne out on top. Durant, three-pointer straight away.
Shazam! I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone in this arena this afternoon, to all of those that are watching and listening on radio and TV. Thank you for allowing me to tell the story of the Suns for 51 great years.
That pretty much wraps things up here. And for one last time, this is Al McCoy saying thanks for being there. Thanks for being with us tonight. And from the Footprint Center here in downtown Phoenix, we'll just say so long